New Zealand were batting like they were on the empty roads of New Zealand in a fancy sports car up until the 11th over. And then it felt like they reached Mumbai traffic and got stuck in the traffic jam after that. They were 84 for 2 after 10 and they've reached 159 after 20. Glenn Phillips got 39, Tim Seifert got 35. All the spinners picking up wickets for England. Will Jacks 2, Adil Rashid 1, Rian Ahmad picked up 1. We're back at Cricbuzz Live. I've got Michael and DK. Michael, do you have a smile on your face? Are you worried because that pitch did it look a little tricky for you?
Oh, it's tricky. I was worried at the 10s. I thought 180 was going to be on the cards, 190. It's clearly a pitch that you need a little bit of time to get in on, and then you can start to strike. But the fact that the spinners did the job, there was 6 wickets to Rehan, Adil and Will Jacks tells you that there's plenty of purchase in the surface, and England, I think, are going to have to bat very well. When you think just a few nights ago, they chased, what was it, 160 odd, 167 to beat Pakistan on a pitch that I think was better than this. I think it was a better pitch. This looks a pitch that's a little bit inconsistent, whether that's with spin, with seam. The first 2 overs of Jofra Archer, I mean, the pitch was doing all sorts. Yes. So I don't think it's a great service. But the ball that Tom Banton's just let through his hand, I saw it skid off the surface. So maybe there'll be a little bit of dew that might improve the surface. But if it stays the same, England are going to have to bat very well to chase that total.
DK, you know the pitch very well. You've spent time in Premadasa as well. Dew is a factor there, and also the pitch. You kept saying 160 is a great score.
First thing, I want to apologize to myself. I thought 160 was a good score, but in the end, I don't know why I said 145. Clearly off the mark.
So you're saying sorry to yourself?
Yes. The brain told me 160.
And then what's he called? What's he called?
Tanila.
Tanila said 145. So blame your little friend.
But yes, Premadasa is a venue where dew plays a massive role. Though there was a small little shot of them showing the buggy cam and the tyres they focused in on, and there wasn't any sort of moisture on the tyres, which tell you so far dew hadn't come. But like Michael says, maybe as the game progresses, it could come and then it becomes slightly better. I do think it'll be marginally better, not as much of a difference as it normally is, because in Colombo there's always a lot of dew. And that plays a massive part when you chase down totals, and that's why in Colombo it's better to chase. But the fact that New Zealand have chosen to bat first tells you that they believe dew won't be that big a factor. And they started quite nicely and they batted well, but towards the end England pulled it back. But that's always going to happen. It's going to be a very tough pitch for any new batter to start on.
Because that's something we spoke about in the comm box. You know, they were 84 for 2, and then you said from here you usually double it. But like DK is saying, for a new batter to come in, set yourself in, understand those pitch conditions. They started at 54 in that power play they got, and then we saw a steady climb in the run rate, but the last 5 overs 6.8, Michael.
Yeah, and it's those last 5 overs that, you know, these teams generally in the last 5 they score at 10s at will, even with 4 or 5 wickets down. It's you know, shut their eyes and they'll still score at 10s. They're that good, but it looked like it was hard to find the boundary, particularly the 6s down the last few overs. Santner's played a really nice shot. The last ball, he's clearly picked Rehan Ahmed, who spun one past the outside edge. He gambled again that it was going to be that kind of delivery. He went and met it. So that was a good shot. But I think New Zealand, if you go back to the game against Sri Lanka where they dominated the last few overs, they'd have felt that they could have done that again. But England bowled nicely, kept the spin into play, and there's certainly some inconsistency. The hardest thing for a batter, DK, is if the pitch spins consistently, it becomes easier because you know it's going to be spinning a certain amount on every single delivery. When it spins inconsistently, it's a nightmare because you can't set. You can't set to hit the ball down the ground. Then you have to try and play a few sweeps. The sweep shots that we saw a couple get away, but it never looked comfortable that the player was under control of playing the sweet shots, which tells me that this pitch is a difficult one for batting on.
And also, I mean, these kind of pitches, the biggest challenge is playing finger spin.
Yes.
And if you see, even today, Rashid was a standout. He bowled brilliantly. But it was Dawson and Jacks who actually kept it almost under run. Jacks bowled 4 overs for 23 runs. Dawson, on the other hand, went for a little more. The left-handers took him down. But the finger spinners always are better to have on spinning pitches because they have a lot more control. And there they have Santner, Phillips, McConchy. These guys will make a big difference. Ish Sodhi is someone that you can get hold of if you play a few attacking shots because you're a spinner, will give it a little more air and look for the wickets. The other finger spinners will just try and kind of keep it tight, and those are the kind of bowlers that can be very hard, especially with what Michael said. If one goes straight and one turns, then it becomes sometimes a bit of a lottery also, the kind of shots you want to choose to play.
Well, you're talking about the spinners that New Zealand have, but Michael, England have bowled 16 overs of spin today. It's the most they've bowled in a World Cup. Have you ever thought that England bowled 16 of their 20 overs in spin.
Yeah, I mean, look, they've got all the right skill sets for all the different conditions, as most of the teams have. I mean, they generally pack themselves with spinners these days in the subcontinent, just in case you get on a pitch like this. So.
No, Archer finishing as well. He just got in his 3 overs.
Well, his first 2 overs were
Yes.
tremendous, and he kept on going to a slow ball, and it kept on disappearing into the stands. Why he keeps trying to bowl that slow ball is beyond me on a pitch like this, where he was whacking length, and it was coming off so inconsistently. But you look at those numbers on the screen. I mean, Will Jacks is having a stellar tournament. He really has. He's had 3 man of the match performances. He's played great with the batting hand at number 7, and he's been a really good contributor with the ball in hand. He's a smart cricketer, and then you go Adil Rashid's gone at 7s again. He's having a really good tournament. Dawson, he's doing a role as soon as he gets out there to right-handers. You feel that he's going to control the game. As DK said, the left-hander's got him to the boundary on a couple of occasions, but that attack's fine for England. It's just one of those surfaces, the captain, that you can sometimes have too many options.
Yes.
You know, you've got so many spin options. You're like, well, I've got to give them all a go, and you kind of can confuse yourself. But I thought Harry Brook did a decent job there. You know, I think he made the right call bowling Rayan in the last over. Joffre comes on with a bit of pace on it. Might have just gone for 15, 20, and that can be a big play in the game. But England will have to bat some. You know, from what I've seen with England in this tournament, Harry's obviously been in fine form. Will at number 7. The rest of them have been a little bit inconsistent, but. I said in the agreement, it's not the kind of pitch where I'd want to try and find form. So Josh Butler, Phil Salt, Tom Manton, who are all looking for a score. What you want is something like this. And unfortunately, I'm trying to look at something. They've got something like this.
Unpredictable.
Well, we saw something like this yesterday in Chennai, but unfortunately for England, Premadasa is doing its own thing. We saw Will Jacks, he's getting it to really turn DK.
Yeah, it's been a pitch which has constantly helped the spinners a lot more than pacers. Sri Lanka, Pakistan, when they were doing well in the league stages, they dominated with spin. It was low-scoring games, 140, 150, but they bowled quite nicely, and the trend seems to continue. I think it's because of the amount of rain that's prevalent in Sri Lanka. They're not able to take care of the pitches as much as they would like to. It's been under the covers a lot of time. The preparation hasn't been up to the mark. Generally, in ICC tournaments, they try their best to give good pitches. One that just doesn't favor batters, but also gives a lot for the bowlers. But in Sri Lanka so far, I think because of the weather, they haven't been able to prepare it as well as they would have liked. Whereas in India, we've been slightly luckier and we've got much better pitches. Yes, yesterday was an aberration. But in general, India has produced 170, 180 pitches, which is good for T20 cricket. That means you have both the bat and the ball competing against each other. But so far, Will Jacks has been phenomenal. I think he's been the best player for England in this tournament by a distance, to be fair.
Yeah.
I know there are others who put in one odd performance here and there, but he's been very consistent with the bat and with the ball.
Well, you're talking about the pitches in Sri Lanka. New Zealand, I think, were preparing themselves to play on pitches like this when it came to the bat. They started off really well. Finn Allen and Tim Seifert, both of them gave that very explosive start for New Zealand. 35 of 25, 29 of 19. After that, Glenn Phillips, Michael got 39 of 28. But if you see, it was tough for any new batter to come in and set himself in.
Yeah, I will say, I reckon that was probably the best power play that I've seen in the tournament for the pitch that they had to bat on.
Yes.
For them to not have lost a wicket and to get over 50 on that kind of wicket was a tremendous effort. But, you know, those numbers tell you everything. You know, it's a really good pitch. One of the players goes and gets a 70 or 80. You know, it just tells you that the pitch was very tricky, and that's why wickets were falling at a regular interval. But, you know, little cameos of 20s and 30s on these kind of pitches are probably worth 60 and 70 on a better surface. So I do think they've batted nicely. They've kept the momentum going. There was one period just around 13, 14, 15 where they didn't quite get the boundaries. But sometimes you get on a surface that you can't. You know, but the one thing that New Zealand always do, it's very rare when I watch New Zealand, is particularly when they bat first. I very rarely watch them and think they haven't got to par. They always work a method of, they always get to something round par. I don't think they that often get 20%, 30% over par, but they always manage to get a number. You look at the last game against Sri Lanka where, what were they, 84 for 7 or 84 for 6?
84 for 6 when
84 for 6,
came in.
and all of a sudden you're thinking 110, 115. They get to over 160 because they just find a way. They get kind of, their mentality is so strong, and on any surface, whether it's a surface like the table, whether it's a surface like we see tonight, they've got a tremendous cricket set of players in terms of mindset and the stability of the group, knowing that they can win any moment to get themselves to that par total. It's a real good mentality to have in the team.
You know, DK, there were 2 wickets that Adil Rashid took, one of Tim Seifert and one of Chapman. Beautiful orthodox cricket, setting them in. Which one did you prefer?
Oh, good one. I think Mark Chapman is most special because generally when a left-hander steps out and gets beaten, it's to the googly.
Yes.
But this one was a leg spinner, basically, which means he's given it enough reps for it to dip because Mark Chapman was completely beaten in the flight. It was a great delivery. Both, even the other wicket of Tim Seifert, I think was a fantastic delivery. But I would rate Mark Chapman slightly higher purely because left-hander ball coming in, beat him so well in the air is something that is an art in itself. You need to finish. You need to do every bit of your action very well, right from the start, your momentum into the crease, your delivery stride, and then get enough revs by delivering it using your wrist. Spot on. And that's why he's one of the most underrated cricketers in the world, I feel.
Yes.
In fact, England's highs and lows are almost dependent on how Adil Rashid goes in a tournament. Imagine England without Adil Rashid. Every time he's come on to bowl, he's picked up a wicket. He's only been actually taken down by Nepal and the other associate team. Other than that, he's been outstanding. And not just this tournament, he's played so many World Cups. And if I'm right, some 8 is the number or
This
something like that.
This is his 10th
ICC event, and
so.
it tells you how consistent he's been, and he's phenomenal to have played 6 T20 World Cups. He was a star in the World Cup that they won in Australia. It's a World Cup that England doesn't speak so much about because of all the theatrics that happened in 2019, but they had a phenomenal win in Australia in the T20 World Cup, and he was such a major player in that. I remember in Adelaide the way he bowled and got Surya out beautifully. He just didn't give anything to hit, and it was a masterclass on how to bowl to Surya on a pitch like Adelaide with slightly shorter boundaries. But anyway, for today also, just the way he's come back, he isn't that scared to get hit.
Yes.
And that's what gives him the courage to be able to tossing the ball at that speed. But that requires skill. A lot of people will bowl it full. He doesn't bowl it full. He'll almost dip slightly away from you. And that's his greatest strength.
Well, he just also sets us up so well for, I think, the nice orthodox cricket lovers love watching him bowl. But Michael, you were chatting about this pitch not being the perfect pitch for someone to find their form. And we know the top orders had their trouble. We also know that New Zealand has got Santner, they've got Ish Sodhi, they've got Rachin Ravindra who takes the ball away from the right-hander. Do you think that's going to be the contest?
Yeah, don't rule out Matt Henry.
Yes.
You know, he'll find seam movement. We saw Jofra Archer in his first over get the ball to seam back into Seifert and Finn Allen. And that ball that did for Nasanka, the first ball of the Sri Lanka innings, the one that just nipped back, that'll be the ball that he tries to bowl to any right-hander. I don't care who the right-hander is. If the ball nips back from outside off, it's a danger. And that's the kind of delivery that he'll try and bowl to Joss Butler. He'll try and get him through the gate, as he will Phil Salt. Phil Salt's got a real dominant right hand. When you've got a dominant right hand, you can create a gap between bat and pan. That's natural. Because he's kind of looking to shovel it on the leg side or trying to take it over point. That's his strength. But that ball that Henry bowls, that nip backer, on this kind of surface, I personally, as a right-handed batter, would probably see my off stump fly out the ground because he's a master, Henry, of knowing the length, knowing the line, getting the ball to move, and I'll be very intrigued to see how he goes in his first over to these two batters because he will get the ball moving around.
Did you think Rashid's ball to Mark Chapman was better or your ball to Sachin Tendulkar?
Well,
I don't know why DK got that in right now.
No, I was thinking...
you can come again. You can come again. I'll talk you through it in the green room.
I'll stay put here when you'll chat about that wicket when you got the master out. I'll stay put here.
She doesn't like it.
Yes. I know that he's got
Sachin
it.
Tendulkar ball. She never appreciates that.
No,
And he's got it framed, and every time he does a Cricbuzz from his
You
house,
remember that ball though, right?
I do, of course I do.
Have you
ever mentioned it to her?
Yes, not once,
Yeah,
like
I've showed it a
plenty
few
of times.
Do you ever call him Sachin or do you always call him the master?
Or you call him the master.
Yeah. So you never say Sachin?
No.
No. Have you ever said Sachin?
No, it's
So
the master.
if you saw him in the street or wherever, would you
Master.
Hi
say?
master, how are you?
Okay, so you've never called him Sachin, his name?
No.
No. Okay.
The master, I mean, he's the master. The one and only, right?
The master.
The one and only. But all right, quickly, otherwise we'll be here for another 4 hours if we talk about the master. I can go on and on and on talking about the great Sachin Tendulkar, but...
Oh, you
160.
mentioned his name. You said his name.
I mean, the great Sachin Tendulkar or
All
the
right.
master.
Okay.
But 160 to get for England. Quick answer. Who's getting this? England, New Zealand. On this surface.
I think New Zealand will win this game.
Me too.
Okay, then you've heard it from DK and Michael that it is New Zealand for them. Guesses then, because Michael, well done to you and me.
yourself. Well, you owe Mitchell Santner for that lovely
first up,
six.
But DK, you can clap for us. I mean, you don't have to be a sore loser.
I'm tired of clapping for others in this competition.
Okay, DK, your turn. to redeem yourself.
Let me start actually. Anyway, I'm going to get it wrong. So I'm going to go for 55.
That's
45.
yeah, 55 is quite a lot.
45.
DK, you want to rethink that?
No, I'm confident. Come on, Salty.
You're sure you're not asking your friend Talina?
Talina.
Because Tanila said
just follow what
146.
your
Why
brain
don't you
tells
have two guesses?
Yes.
You've got yourself and
38.
so 38, 55.
So it's 55 for DK. It's 38 for Tanila, who doesn't count. It's 45 for Michael, and it is I think there's a wicket.
Something. I know you. I could tell by the way that you were delaying
I
it.
think there's a
Don't tell me
wicket.
Matt Henry's got one to nip up through the gate and bowl.
Exactly what you've said. It was an outswinger. It said he was waiting for the one coming in, but it's an outswinger. Michael, he called it.
I've seen Matt Henry play for Somerset over the years. I've been down there watching my son, and I've seen him bowl some of the genius spells in county cricket, where he looks like he's going to get a wicket every single ball.
He's a
Wow,
serious bowler.
but you called it. You called
Can I
it.
rework my decision?
Yes,
Now that
No,
Salt
you can
is
go with your Talina.
55. Let me 55. I'll stick to that. No fun.
You're not changing.
I trust
After
Brooke.
all
Well,
that.
Harry Brooks in now, so
Yeah.
you might get 65.
All right. It's 55 for DK. He's confident. It's 45 for Michael. It's 41 for me.
Sure. She lowballed it, eh?
Well,
Yes.
now they've got a wicket.
All right. I'm sorry. It was Salt who got out, not Butler.
Yeah.
I thought it was Butler, but it was Salt.
You did say so.
You did say
okay.
so, yeah.
All right, then. I was under pressure with the guessing game. That's the time when I have to pull my socks up. Thank you very much, DK. I really wish you win this one, Michael. Well
You actually
done.
don't at all.
No,
That's
not at
just-
all. That's the Bollywood side in the coming.
It's like when I work with the Australian
I really
when
wish
I
you
work with the
would,
Australian
DK.
commentators, and they always kind of look at me. Oh, we really want England to win this game, just to give it a contest.
Well, clearly,
And I know they don't mean it.
clearly I'm not a very good method actor. I tried doing this, but it didn't work. But thank you everyone for watching. We'll be back at the 10 over point with Cricbuzz Combox.